No, you're fine. Right ahead of you.
Awesome. We have lots of applause there. Welcome, welcome. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, well, we will go ahead and get started with our Q&A here. I'm going to actually ask all of our filmmakers, before you introduce yourselves, we have a video from one of the filmmakers who could not be present. So that is from Apple of My Eye. So if we can go ahead and run that video.
Hi, good evening. I'm Shira. Thank you, Topaz Festival, for having my film Apple of My Eye. Thank you all for watching my film. I'm sorry I can't be with you, but I would like to answer any question. If you can contact me by mail, farbershira@gmail.com. It's FARBERSHIRA@gmail.com, or Shira Farber at Facebook, Farber Shira at Instagram. I would like to hear you, to hear what you think about my film, to answer any question. And thank you. Enjoy the festival. Good night.
Awesome. And so then how about we start on the top row? I'm going to let you all introduce yourselves and give your name and however many hats that you wore on your film, and of course the name of your film, so we can all get to know you before we get into our Q&A. So we'll start with Sarah.
Yes. Hi. My name is Sarah Leva. My film was Lioness, and I was the writer, producer, and actress in the film.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Paris. My film was Birds Fly Home, and I was the producer and co-writer.
And Louisa.
Hi everyone, my name is Louisa. I've lost my voice, so I apologise. I run Northern Fortress Films. I'm the writer, producer and director of Ruth and Safiya.
And Care, is it Care? Give her a second to unmute there.
Hi, yes, I am Kaire. I'm the director of the Grandma Meet Mary.
Kyra, thank you for the correct pronunciation there. All right. Well, I'd like to just kind of start with sort of a general question for anyone to start off with, and that is if you could just perhaps share your inspiration for the films that you either produced or directed. I'd love to hear that. So whoever wants to start first. All right, I'll call on you then. Kathleen,
Okay.
why did you produce this?
So this story actually was inspired by a true story. I have lived in the Middle East, specifically in Jordan, for quite a bit of time. And I met a young woman who had basically lived Layla's story in real life, where she had grown up child of divorce. They'd grown up secular with her mom in the US, but her father was Jordanian. And after the parents' divorce, her father had gone back to Jordan, his home country. And she went to university there and converted to Islam. And she went back to the US to visit her mom and was wearing hijab. And her mom was like, what the hell? And so it was literally it was a story that stuck with me for a really long time, that I thought felt very cinematic, and always wanted to translate it to cinema. And I found a really phenomenal duo to work with in the lead actress and in the director, and we all co-wrote the script together, and that was the genesis of that movie.
Thank you. All right, Louisa.
So I guess in the UK we've got a lot of kind of right-wing narrative around refugees and asylum seekers, and I just really wanted to make something that humanizes refugees and, just remind people that they're more than a statistic, and just kind of hold a mirror up to society, but not in an in-your-face way, in just kind of a subtle way that leaves people thinking afterwards. So that was my motivation behind making it. And I've done lots of local screenings as well, because it's a very kind of local dialect film, and it has gone down really well. We've had some good conversations, so I feel like it's achieved the aim that I set out to do.
Thank you. Kyra?
Well, I lived for many years outside of my country, and when I came back to Estonia, then I kind of noticed that there's a big gap between what I feel is normal in the society and what was normal here in Estonia. So I'm talking about kind of accepting the same-sex relationships, for example. But there are other things also. So that was kind of the first frustration and kind of the need to tell something around that theme. And later on, of course, as we wrote, I wrote it together with another woman who also has lived outside of Estonia for a while. The kind of the generation gap, and kind of like, how we need to be accepted by our moms. Yeah, that kind of was one of the things. And of course, wanting to create more society around us that is more tolerate. That in the end we are the family, and kind of like how to all live together and accept each other. So that's kind of the story of this film.
Thank you. Sarah, how did you come to produce?
Yeah, Lioness, the story came to me when I was a volunteer at a safe house, which is a domestic violence shelter for women it's undisclosed. You won't be able to locate it unless you have access to it. And I was there volunteering over Thanksgiving, and I was helping the kids. I was playing with the children of the mothers, and I saw one of the mothers walk. It only lasted about 10 seconds. She came downstairs and she walked to the kitchen, and she just had such a terrible, awful, I can't even explain it, massive wound, bruise from her, taking up her entire arm. And I just remember watching her just go into the kitchen and try to put together this feast for the kids. And that just resonated with me. And as a mother myself, just the sacrifices and the resilience and the vulnerability that these are lionesses. It's really inspired by all of the women that I don't even know their names that I encountered there. And this one in particular was the catalyst, I think, for what it was.
Thank you. Yeah. All of your films were really amazing. So thank you so much for submitting them to the festival and sharing them with us. Just really incredible work. So we don't have any questions yet from the audience, but audience, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and type them up there, and we'll start delving into those as well. I just have a few things I wanted to comment on. So in Ruth and Safiya, I just loved that wind chime. So I just thought that was, so tell me about that wind chime. I just thought that, and the story was beautiful and loved it, but that was such an interesting choice there. So I just wonder if there's a story behind that.
Yeah, thank you. I've actually got that somewhere in my room that I've kind of kept. So kind of being a queer person myself, I wanted to have like undertones, in the film. And Ruth talks about having there was a woman I lived with for a long time, but she's gone now, a friend I lived with, a woman, and we have sort of like pictures and things around. So I wanted to hint at the fact she was a queer woman. without kind of being in your face and taking away from the kind of refugee narrative and the humanistic thing we were going for. So you're the first person that's picked up on that, actually. So thank you for mentioning it.
You're welcome. That's also wonderful. Let's see here. Then in Grandmommy Mary, I just love the little boy under the table. Was that something that you, planned? Did it just happen and you worked it into the script? Or tell me about that.
Oh, no. It was written in the script, kind of like, that's also like a next generation that is living under the table and kind of has its own life, so to speak. There, yeah. It was written there, like but it was very difficult to film him under the table. It took a lot of time, and we didn't have time, so. It was quite funny because there was one moment when the whole crew was kind of going under the table to make him go under the table. See, it's fun. And all the actors went. I went.
Yes, kids and animals are always a challenge to work with. So then there was with Lioness, I thought that the beginning, we just didn't know where the story was coming from, and so I really loved that. I mean, you weren't quite sure, and I'm so just tell me about why you chose that approach, or anything you want to share about that. I'd like to hear more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how that came about. I mean, people were like, did you mean to show that maybe she had not survived, that she had taken her, like, there was a lot of, but I will say that it was, I mean, in the entire short, there's only one line of dialogue. That's it. And it's not even from myself. It's our incredible our Lily Jane actress. Because the way that this unraveled was, I think that sometimes personally for this particular piece, words can just get in the way. And if you were to ask a mother about their child, or you to ask me, well, how much do you love your child? I couldn't put into words any of it. So to me, it was all images, the panic and the fury at times, and the absolute terror of who was outside, the touch of the little girl on my neck. Like, to me, that was much more powerful and striking, were those emotions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kathleen, I love the moment where the daughter was playing her guitar. So the song was beautiful. Anything you can want to share about that particular scene?
Yeah, that was our actress, Zane. She's one of my best friends. She's really effing talented, and she's a great singer and actress. And she co-wrote the song with our composer, who is Jordanian. Zane is Palestinian, and our composer is Jordanian composer named Ria Rashidat. And they just made magic. Sure.
Fantastic. Okay, so I do have a question here. Let's see here. Oh, something I lost. Hang on. Open my questions there. So all of your films tackle huge personal and social issues. I'm wondering what you feel your role as a filmmaker is and how you feel you are realizing that. Anybody want to jump in on that?
Yeah, I can start. Yeah, I have been wondering about it quite a lot because I'm realizing that I only want to make social films, kind of, and there's also this funny thing about it, because when you read the script writing books, then it's always like, oh, it's not about changing the world. It's about writing the great story or entertaining the audience. And I always find it like it doesn't resonate with me because I think at least for me, I am a filmmaker and I have a voice. So I want to, do something with it, because movies are very strong way to get the message through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. They can be very influential as through your story. Anyone else want to talk about how you feel about realizing those?
I'll jump in.
Sure, go
I'll
ahead.
jump in. So since making Ruth and Safiya, I've got a number of social change scholarships through the filmmaking work. And I just think that film gives an opportunity to create conversations, whether it's the audiences that have watched it in a cinema or at a festival, or if it's people watching it at home. And they can go on and have conversations, and this starts a wave, and that is how you create social change. It starts from a seed of an idea. And film has the power to go out to so many more people on a platform, and create social change on a much wider scale. And I'm really passionate about how powerful a tool that is. And also kind of I won't get in, I'll go off on my spiel, but yeah, I just think it's an amazing tool, and I think we've seen some amazing films tonight that will go on to create more conversations and help to contribute to social change and tackling social issues.
Yeah, I think that for me personally, as an actor, for and foremost, I'm always going to be, it's about the story itself. I think one that really resonates is if you can make it a combination of both, tackling the social issue, but making it personal and authentic and really striking. Unfortunately, and I could say this about mine, but I could say this about any of the beautiful films I saw tonight, they're never not going to be relevant. Like, we're never going to live in a world where domestic violence, unfortunately, or violence against anyone isn't going to be a topic. So, but that to me was like the spine, the heart of it, in mine in particular, was the like I said earlier, the resilience and that love itself. So I think it really is a combination of both. Yeah.
Kathleen?
Yeah, I had to mute myself. I have a very yelly Pomeranian. So with the social, I mean, the personal is political, no matter what, right? And we're all always in our lives dealing with power structures. And so when we set out to tell our story, there was so much there already that you could just list it. You could just list it off. And when we were going on to tell our story about especially with the question of representation, especially in the industry right now, that was sort of our core, not our core, but kind of our key social issue relevant to the industry that our film directly addressed, because it was a representation of a young Muslim woman that no one's ever seen before, and it was such a privilege to tell that story and to be working with a team of people who were so dedicated to that story and who really who, no matter their backgrounds, just really cared. So I think your responsibility as the filmmaker is always to look at the politics of your story and know everything and be curious about what is like my context I'm coming from, not letting me see. Who else needs to look at this so that they can say what they're seeing? They can express, because I don't come from a Muslim background. I'm from the Midwest and grew up Lutheran, and but then it's our actress, our director, our cinematographer, our composer. It was just what can other people bring to the story? Who have their own set of politics in their lives that they've had to live their lives by that are different than yours, to enrich it. So that is your responsibility as a filmmaker, absolutely, and that's where the social comes in.
And Kathleen, I had someone write in a question asking about you had her avoid her friends in the film. Was that intentional, or what was the idea behind that choice?
The avoiding the friends, I think, just is like where all the awkwardness meets, in terms of her mother being unsure of what to say because there's a lie happening, right, where she didn't tell the friends that she was coming. And so what does that reveal about Layla and like her choices and where she's at in that moment? And then what does the mother's reaction reveal about her choices and where she's at in that moment? And so that's actually what starts the fight, is because they're like, well, wait a second. Well, why are you Muslim now? Why did you lie? Well, why are you Muslim now? What's going on? So it's absolutely it was absolutely intentional as our way of narratively moving the story forward.
We've only got time for a couple more questions. One was about and Sarah, about how your movie was primarily silent, which you've kind of touched upon. Is there anything else you want to add on that?
Yeah, there is. Well, first of all, Kathleen just said something that made me think of something about the responsibility that we have as filmmakers as well to tell stories, political, social, in a different way. If I have to see one more story of a person getting, excuse my language, the crap beat out of them and just the wounds and the victimhood, I mean, that's just not the story the way that I want to tell. I really wanted to imbue it with hope. And as far as the sounds, the rain, the cockroach, the insects, the ambulances, all of that, all that's happening in real time. Like, that's not, hey, let's find these cool sounds. There were 3 overdoses in the span of 36 hours that we filmed at that motel, and 2 of them died right above us, leaving children orphaned. The other one was happening right next door to us. We're in Florida, so there was we had to pause because of weather. I mean, that panic and that get me out of here, it imbued itself in the film, because the police officers were literally just outside our room the entire shoot. And, we also had the responsibility to protect our young actress, who we sent on like a 3-hour dinner break, hoping that the detectives would clear and, so she wouldn't have to witness some things. So yeah, that actually that wasn't planned. Obviously not. We obviously did not want any harm to come to anyone, but I think that having that atmosphere, that aesthetic, it just put in this other layer of really uncomfortable and that fear of, and hopefully bravery.
And undeniable. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. That was really great to know that. I have one last question just for Kyra. How did you find your amazing cast? You had so many great characters in there. So just curious about your casting.
Yeah, they're all, so most of them are professional actors in Estonia. So Tina, who is playing Aunt Vera, who is the main character, she has also been in one Oscar nominee movie from Estonia, for example. Yeah, I handpicked them. I really, thought about it and who could, and then talked a lot, because of course I had other choices also. Some actors also told me not to be part of it because of the team. So that's also interesting, I guess, to know. But yeah, some choices were more difficult with the younger girls. I mean, the Mary and and the daughter, who are the couple. Then that was a difficult one. Then I did a casting, but that was only one that I did casting. the others I kind of figured out by just seeing the actors, like clips and then talking with them, kind of. Yeah.
Great. Well, we're going to wrap up, but before we go, I'm going to start with you, Louisa. Tell us how we can follow you. Tell us what's happening next for you, whether this film or another project you have in the works. But how can we continue to support and promote you?
Thank you. So my production company is Northern Fortress Films, that you'll find on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you know, everything. Next, I've been in Italy, in Bologna this summer, making a film with John Landis, who's been mentoring me, and I've directed it. So I've got that coming out, and I've got a documentary I've made for UNESCO over in Japan earlier this year as well coming out. So lots going on over here.
Congratulations. Awesome. How about you, Kathleen?
Okay, so that's really impressive, Louisa. Congratulations. Follow me on Instagram if you want. It's a little sprinkle of fun sometimes. So my Instagram is always.have.paris. Paris is spelled Peiris. So yeah, you can get in touch with me that way. And I'm always working on stuff, so hopefully I'll have something in the works pretty soon.
Thank you. Sarah?
Yes, I'm working on my next short film. You can follow us at www.filmlioness.com or myself, www.saraholiva.com, and my Instagram is just Sarah Antoinette, and we're nearing the end of our festival circuit. So we will be at the Fort Lauderdale Film Festival in early November, and then in mid-November we'll be at the Key West Film Festival. So if you're down in that area, just come on by. Let me know.
Fantastic. And Kyra?
Yeah. Well, right now I have 2 TV series that have aired. One that I wrote, and the other one that I wrote and directed. I also had co-writers, like great bunch of people to work with. Yeah, they are both airing right now in Estonia. So I'm actually cutting at the same time when it's airing. We are running with time to make it. Yeah. So the one that I directed is like the whole family kind of TV show. So there's children and stuff. So that's great. And then I'm starting to make a feature film, my first feature film. I have a producer to kind of to make it, and I also have a co-writer. And the team is, as you, Sarah, I am focusing on the partner violence kind of, and to see how is the system of how you can help someone in this kind of situation. Yeah.
And how do we follow you?
Yeah, I know it's kind of difficult because I'm just gonna write it here, my Instagram. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, ladies, thank you so much. I didn't get to near all the questions I wanted to ask of you, and you may want to chit chat with each other as well. There's a little button that you can click on, the Wifty Cafe, if you want to go in there and talk some more, or perhaps as you, the audience watching, if you want to go in there and see who else might be joining you to have a conversation, we encourage you to go in there. For those of you who are in the Dallas area, we hope to see you this weekend in person. Can't wait for that. And again, my thanks to you all for being here, and to our audience for watching. So yes, huge applause, lots of love. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
Bye,
so
everybody.
much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.